Welcome to the first lesson of the 0 to 100 course of wall-mounted gas boiler repair. If we want to divide the boiler in terms of the number of exchanger, they are divided into three categories: single heat exchanger, two heat exchangers, and condensing gas boiler that also use the heat of combustion products. But in order to acquire skills in condensing boilers, we must first reach the master stage in single heat exchanger boilers. Then move the lesson towards double exchanger boilers. As we mentioned in the introduction session, instead of the long word of wall-mounted gas boiler, we will use the word boiler. Some of you dear friends may have just entered this work, and some of you have no background in boiler repairs. Don't worry at all. In this course, all concepts will be taught in a completely principled way with the best technology in the world. This course starts from absolute zero and will continue until you become super professional. Just as movie students in Iran are among the best boiler service providers in the whole country. Now, we intend to have the best and most complete boiler repair course in the world. So please follow me step by step and keep a note to write down important points and review these materials when you are idle. But let's go to today's lesson. The first concept that we should get familiar with is a boiler with single heat exchanger. What is a single heat exchanger boilers? As you know, steam boilers, in addition to providing hot water, such as the hot water we use in the bathroom or kitchen, also have the ability to heat our workplace or home. Now they need a heat exchanger to able to heat water and heat the house. In single heat exchanger boilers, the same exchanger is responsible for both heating water and heating radiators. Single heat exchanger boilers has only one heat exchanger. So, when you know the boiler with one heat exchanger, you probably now understand the concept of boiler with two heat exchangers. A boiler with two heat exchangers is called a boiler that has two heat exchangers. One to heat the radiators and other to heat the water. You may have been asked how the bottom heat exchanger heats the water. You don't see a flame under the lower heat exchanger. In fact, the flame heats the water in main heat exchanger. The heat exchanger under which the flame is lit is called the main heat exchanger, and the lower heat exchanger is called the secondary heat exchanger. So, this is the main exchanger and this is the secondary exchanger. And the water of the main heat exchanger is transferred to the secondary heat exchanger by a series of parts. And the water heat of the primary heat exchanger is given to the secondary heat exchanger. But to begin with, we don't need to know the boiler with two heat exchangers. We will start with simpler concepts and move towards with more difficult concepts. To begin with, you should note that a single heat exchanger boiler is a boiler that has a heat exchanger. And this heat exchanger is responsible for heating both hot water and the radiators. In order to understand better, let me take help from 3D Studio Max software and show you the boiler heat exchanger. Well, friends, we entered the 3D Studio Max software. This is a wonderful software that helps me to teach you in the best possible way. On the right side, you can see the exchanger of the single heat exchanger boiler. This exchanger is also called a dual purpose exchanger because it heats both water and the radiators. If you look carefully, there are 4 pipes in this exchanger. The pipes on the right side are related to the spa, and the pipes on the left side are related to the radiators. Be attention, in some exchangers, like the Hitachi boiler single heat exchanger, the pipes may be reversed. It means that the pipes related to the spa may be on the left side and the pipes related to the radiator may be on the right side. Anyway, it doesn't matter to us. The important thing is to know that there are 4 pipes in the exchange of the single heat exchanger boiler. 2 of them are related to the spa and 2 other pipes are related to the radiators. You might say to yourself, how an exchanger can heat both water and radiator at the same time? The truth is that at any moment, one of the 2 circuits is active. As long as the spa valve in the kitchen or bathroom is closed, the radiator are heated. And when the first spa valve in the kitchen or bathroom is opened, the heating of the radiator will stop and the water will be heated. In order to better understand the working system of this exchanger, let me show you the different parts from this exchanger. This pipe is related to the incoming cold water from the municipal water pipe system. And this pipe is related to the outlet of the spa that enters to the kitchen, bathroom, and etc. On the other side, we have the pipes for heating the radiators. One of them is called the radiator outlet pipe, and the other one is the radiator return pipe. In fact, this is the outlet pipe and this is the return pipe. But I have a question for you. How to find out which pipe is the radiator outlet and which pipe is the radiator return pipe? If you look carefully, in this exchanger right here, there is a hole where the NTC closes. Maybe you ask, what is NTC? NTC is a temperature function resistor that measures the water temperature and reports it to the control board. In the next lessons, we will talk about NTC in detail. But for this lesson, just know that NTC is always placed in the output pipe on the exchanger. So, when the NTC is here, this pipe becomes the outlet pipe of the exchanger. And this one will be the return pipe of the radiators. Of course, in some boiler, you may see 2 NTCs. One for the output of the exchanger and the other for the return of the radiators, which we will talk about later. So, now you understood which is the outlet pipe of the heat exchanger and the return pipe of the radiators. But let's go back to the basics. We told you a little earlier, as long as the water valve is closed, the radiator will heat up. And as soon as the first hot water valve is opened, the heating of the radiators stops and the water is heated. Now, let's see how this happens. If I come and cut the pipes of this exchanger, you will understand better. There are 2 coaxial pipes in dual purpose exchanger. The inner pipe marked in red is for water heating, and the outer pipe marked with blue color is related to heating the radiator. Note that when the boiler is working, both pipes are full of water. The water of these two pipes should never be mixed together. Otherwise, there will be problems that I will tell you in the next lessons. If you look carefully, the flame under the exchanger blades is on. We call these blades fin. And the most heat transfer happens in this fin blade that are connected to the outer pipe. When the burner is on, it heats up the water in the outer pipe. As long as the spout valve is closed, water in the outer pipe flows towards the radiator. So the radiators are heated. But when the first spout valve is opened, the water in the outside pipe, which is related to the radiators, stops moving. Therefore, the temperature of the water rises rapidly. At this time, because the hot water valve is opening, the water inside the inner pipe is following. And because the cold water enters from this part, the heat of the outer pipe is given to the inner pipe. And the water reaches the desired temperature after passing through the U-shaped pipes. Water enters the inner tube of the exchanger and it's go back through this U-shaped pipe to reach this part. It goes back to here from this U-shaped pipe, and finally, after passing through the last U-shaped pipe from here, it reaches the desired temperature and exit from here. Now let's a review of what was said in this lesson. In this lesson, we learned what is single heat exchanger. Single heat exchanger boiler is a boiler that has only one heat exchanger. This exchanger is responsible for heating the spout and radiators. And single heat exchanger consists of two coaxial pipes. The outer pipe related to heating the radiators and the inner pipe is related to the spout. And also we learned as long as the spout valve is closed, the radiators are heated. And as soon as the spout valve is opened, the water circulation in the path of the radiators stops. And the heat of the outer pipe is transferred to the inner pipe to heat the water. Well, congratulations! You have passed the first lesson of the basic concepts. Please be very careful in learning the basic concept. A professional repairman is someone who is a master in basic concepts. Otherwise, everyone can learn to open and close 4 screws. I hope you are happy, successful, and rich wherever you are in the world.